Hi, this is Robert Kane, better known as Arcane Code on the old interwebs, here today to share a technique with you on how to do column-based editing within SQL Server and Visual Studio. Now, what I'm going to show you today applies to all versions of Visual Studio and SQL Server Management Studio since the 2005 timeframe. Something that's built into all of these, but very few people seem to know about, is the ability to cut, copy, and paste columns of text. Here I've got a SQL query up within SQL Server Management Studio, and this happens to be the 2008 R2 version. And what I'd like to do is take a column of spaces and insert them between the comma and my left bracket. So I'm going to hold down the Alt-Shift and then cursor over to the right one, and then come down and highlight all of these. And now I can do a Control-X, come back to the top, and do a Control-V. That's pretty cool. I can also come over here if I want to, and let's say I want to insert a few more. Well, it's still in my buffer, so I can just hit Control-V a few more times, and there we go. Now maybe I want to shrink this up a little bit and maybe put 2 columns on each row. So I'm going to come here and do another Alt-Shift, and we'll just come over here and do a few of them, and we'll do a Control-X. Come down here and do another Control-V, and there we go. They've been inserted. So pretty useful. Now, if you are lucky enough to be running the 2012 version of SQL Server Management Studio or the 2010 version of Visual Studio, you get a little extra functionality. Let's come down here so you can take a look. Here I've got a query within SQL Server Management Studio 2012. And as you can see, we can do the same thing we did before. I'm going to do an Alt-Shift, come down, and we'll do a Control-X and Control-V. So you can see that functionality is still here. But you get one extra little piece of functionality. If I come here, I'm going to do an Alt-Shift, but I'm not going to cursor left or right to highlight anything. I'm just going to come straight down. And now I'm going to start typing. Dash, dash. And now you can see I've quickly inserted the same text on every single row at the position where my column is. Now, you might think, well, okay, putting in comment block, I can do that through the interface. But here's a more powerful example. Let's do Control-Z to get rid of those. Let's say you're in a situation where you're now about to take this table and you're about to start writing a query to join it with another table. It's quite common that you're going to have several column names that are the same in both. And what you really want to do is alias all of these. There's quite a few here, so just typing in, some kind of alias on every single one is kind of time consuming. Not so with this technique. We're going to type space and we'll use maybe FIS for our alias. And now when I come up here, I'm going to do the Alt-Shift, hold it down, type in FIS period. And now, within just a few keystrokes, I've now inserted my alias on every single column for this query. Now, in addition to Visual Studio and SQL Server, this functionality also exists in the upcoming release of PowerShell. Here I've got PowerShell version 3, and this is the beta build, so if you're working with an earlier version, I can't guarantee it's going to work the same. Here we go. We're going to do an Alt-Shift, and we'll do a £, which is the comment in PowerShell. And you can see I've now commented out those 2 lines. Maybe I decide, you know what, I don't want to do get child item all of a sudden. I use the wrong command. Maybe I want to do get process. So I'm going to do Alt-Shift, highlight this, type in get dash process. So you can see there I've replaced it very quickly and easily. And I can do Control-Z to get rid of it again. So, very cool feature. That's how you can use column mode functionality, and that exists in every version of SQL Server Management Studio and Visual Studio since 2005. And again, stressing the ability to insert data at wherever your insert point is only exists in the 2012 SQL Server Management Studio, 2010 Visual Studio, and the new PowerShell ISE that comes with version 3 of PowerShell. So, I hope you found this useful. For more good information, come on and visit my blog at arcanecode.com.